feel like I identify with bisexual people more because, like, I know it's weird because people, like queer people don't just walk around being like, oh, look how queer we all are together, queering. When you're walking around with a group of people and you know that, like, all of them are bi, and then, like, a girl goes past or a boy goes past, and you can be like, oof, they were pretty perfect, and you can just, like, talk about it together. You don't have to worry about it being weird or, like, making people uncomfortable. I do see myself ending up with one gender or the other, or I see myself ending up with one gender, not like one or the other. That's weird and binary. But that's because I see myself ending up with one person forever. Like, I'd be committing to a person. I wouldn't be committing to, like, end up with a man and never think a girl's fit again. If there's, like, a bi person and they're dating someone of the opposite sex, whatever gender, whatever. Basically, if they're a bi person in a straight relationship, there's, like, a little thing in me that's like, I wanted it to be gay. But, like, they're not any less bi, and then I'm like, check yourself.
That's true. And how does...
I mean, I guess that's just because I'm, like, starved of representation. And when someone who I look up to is bi, I'm like, I want to see them, like, in a gay relationship, because that would, like, that would make me happy.
Yeah.
But, like, their life is not mine. Don't you think it's weird how the word androgyny is like a deliberate fusion of andro and gyno? But people always abbreviate it just to andro.
That was an iconic moment. Is in pans.
That's why I said flipping the pans, Kate.
Oh, you do make me laugh.
Now I want to say flipping the trans, Kate. Part of me, sometimes I'm like, I just want to grow my hair back out and go back to being like all feminine and stuff, just because it'd be so much easier. But then I'm like, I think about that, and I think I noticed it particularly when I was making my folder of aesthetic inspiration people and, like, my fashion icons and the way that I want to see, like, the way that I want to look and what I'm aiming for and stuff. And it's just all men, but, like, feminine men. I think for me, it doesn't change how I view myself, but how others view me. It's exhausting a lot of the time, trying to get other people to view me the way I view myself. So sometimes I'm like, why not just try and view myself the way that other people view me instead?
No.
Never work. I always go back to looking at pictures of Harry Styles and being like, oh, I wish that was me. I would really like to redistribute the fat on my body and have a lower voice. When I started allowing myself to cry at, like, telly things, I think that's a really safe way to channel vulnerability. I never cried in front of my family, and I was hugely, like, embarrassed and, like, not ashamed, but I just didn't like it when it happened, if I ever did. But, like, recently, like you saw over Christmas, I was with Annabelle and I just sobbed for, like, a full hour because of a Glee episode. And that's really like, it's a really good way, I think, to exercise vulnerability. Because it's not, well, maybe not actually vulnerability, because you're like surface level vulnerable. So you're crying, which is vulnerable, but you're not crying because of
something that's actually happening.
Anything to do with you. Like, you don't have to expose yourself in crying. Having started crying at like telly and videos of Harry Styles waving pride flags and songs that make me happy and so on and so on, it's massively empowering, because it's just, crying on its own is really good catharsis. And if, like me, you struggle to cry because of emotional things, like I've been waiting fucking like a year and 3 months to cry about something, and I've not cried about it yet. But I can cry in 10 minutes if you put the right song on. I think it's really freeing, because it's cathartic to cry at things. Because of the people that I like model myself after, I've talked about Harry so much, so I'm going to continue talking about Harry, because he's a good example in this case, and I'm also going to open up my aesthetic inspiration folder to look at some more boys who I model myself after. I think I am much more comfortable embracing femininity than other trans people, because I model myself after a lot of quite feminine gay bi men. So it doesn't bother me so much. What does bother me is that I know that when I'm doing these things, I'm not perceived in the same way that the people I model myself after are perceived in, which is frustrating. And like quite upsetting at times, because it seems like my whole identity is futile. I'm more comfortable with it in myself. The only thing that is uncomfortable, or not is uncomfortable but causes me discomfort at times, is knowing the way that it's being perceived by others. In terms of social dysphoria, it definitely is not comfortable for me being lumped in as like one of the girls, which is why I don't know though, I feel quite intimidated by cis boys, because like I know the way that most of them will be perceiving me. So I end up being friends with like most of the girls. It can seem like the most weird out there thing, because if they're not non-binary, then they absolutely have no way of knowing how it feels to not be. But if you're not a dickhead and then someone explains the concept of a gender spectrum to you, then most people gather it pretty quickly. I feel good about myself when I can do something that I know will make my friends happy, and then they get really happy about it. It's very gratifying to know that I know people well and that they appreciate things that I do. Oh god, that's upsetting. Oof. I feel good about myself when I'm not in my overdraft. Oh, why did I do that now? I feel good about myself when I pull off an aesthetic that I'm shooting for really well, and I feel good about myself when I do well in uni and I know that I'm being like the best version of myself that I can be.